Hey guys, what is up? This is Kyle here with Average Gameplay, bringing you a little FIFA today, using Leicester City versus some Mexican League team. I have no idea who it is. Uh, and I'm here to bring you a story today about the camping trip or backpacking trip that I talked about in the last video, in my first video. And it, I was with a trip that I was hoping would turn out really fun and cool, ended up being a total disaster and a total shitstorm and one of the worst experiences of my fucking life. Okay, so this is how it started. It was Friday, and we were all gonna meet up, go down there, set up our tents, just chill, maybe build a fire. Well, turns out it started raining Friday, and turns out rain and camping don't mix either. Learned that the hard way. Well, we had like a $45 Walmart tent, and I was helping my buddy Ryan set it up, and I was trying to like stick the frame pole into the key so it'd lock and stay still. Well, fucking biffed it because like it's a $40 Walmart tent. I'm not really expecting god tier performance out of it, and I fucking like the key's really small, and I have kind of big chubby fingers, so it was kind of hard for me to hold the small key and put that pole into it, and I fucked up and jabbed the pole straight in the ground. It got mud in it, so I spent an extra 10 minutes digging out the fucking mud and whatnot out of it. And I finally got it together. The tent got on. We put the roof on it because it was raining. Well, so we decided to chill since we couldn't build a fire because it was raining. And it was me, Ryan, and my other buddy Ethan. We were chilling in there for a while, just like chilling. We decided to play cards, and we were using pistachios as like the money because we didn't have any money, real money, and it was just the most abundant thing around us. And we decided to play blackjack or 21. And when we started playing, Ryan, who has never really played before, I guess, we like started off with 10, 15, 10 or 12 pistachios, and like the startup, like the automatic down bet was like 2 pistachios, and Ryan won like 7 times in a fucking row, and it was retarded. Like, I was like, holy shit, dude, what in the fuck? Well, he decided like he didn't want to eat the pistachios. It means he's like, you want them, you're gonna fucking eat them. He's like, no, and we finally got him to eat them, and then then we decided to leave the rest of them for Hayden. Well, before our buddy Hayden came in, our buddy Kevin's girlfriend, who was in the class with us, Brooke, came into the tent. She went to like this place called El Dorado, or El Dorado, whatever fucking you want to call it, in Uari, which is where we took the camping trip at. She went and got herself some food. Well, she came back, she chilled with us in the tent. We played some music, like not very loud, just like so we didn't bother other people. Like, I was like 3 notches up on my phone. Like, it was literally like 3. The volume was literally like 3 on my phone. And we were having a good time, cracking jokes and shit. Watching people come in late and fail, setting up their tents like late at night. And all of a sudden, like, we're just chilling, laughing. And there's this bitch and her boyfriend who like set up a fucking like hammocks to sleep on. Just out of nowhere was like, can you guys please be fucking quiet? Well, she didn't say fucking, but she's like, can you guys please be quiet? But at that point, she might as well said fucking quiet. But so we were like, all right, whatever. And I flipped her off and just pretty much mimicked like fuck you. And so we were quiet for a little bit, started whispering, and then we were like, all right, well, we're gonna get up. So we had to be up early, and we had to be up by like 7:30 to cook breakfast and then brief up on the trail hike to talk about what we need to do, how to do everything properly, and where to go. So we wake up, and honestly, I'm surprised I got any amount of sleep. I fell asleep probably around 12:30, and then I periodically woke up an hour every time. Like, I went from 12:30 to 1:30 to 2:30, 3:30. Then I woke up at 4:30, got up, took a piss, probably about 4:40 by the time I got back in there, and then I didn't wake up till my alarm went off at 7:30 like it was supposed to, and it was pretty rough to say the least because the shitty Walmart tent started leaking and water would be dripping on my face like every 5 minutes, and it's just like, what the fuck, mate? Like, why? So I ended up having to wrap my face in like my shirt that I was wearing previously before that to keep my face dry. Well, when I was keeping my face dry, it ended up getting really fucking hot and sweating. So I was like, I can either take the sacrifice of the water dripping on my face, or I can just sweat my ass off with the shirt wrapped around my head. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay in the shirt because it's less of a nuisance than having water drip on my face every 5 minutes. Well, I ended up we started cooking our breakfast. All we had for breakfast was fucking grits, which I don't like grits. So I ended up eating my MRE, which was supposed to be for lunch or dinner, which it was rice and chicken. It was pretty good. It kind of tasted like ramen noodles, like in the styrofoam cups. Mine was I put a little too much water in it, so it wasn't that good. But if I had to put a little less, it was pretty good, to say the least, for only spending like $5 on it. Well, after that, he briefed us up on everything and gave us a secondary map, which, by the way, this map was fucking shit. It's literally just shows the trail, which is a straight line. It doesn't tell you exactly where everything is, and it's outdated, which we didn't know that until later on in the trip, which I'm going to get to. Well, it's later on, and it's just like, it's dated like 2013, 2014. Well, since then, they've added new points and new like landmarks on those maps in like the 2 or 3 years since it's been updated. And he didn't know that. The fucking teacher didn't know that. So the first trail was like 2.9 miles. It wasn't that bad. I rolled my ankle, and I slid in some mud and like rolled my ankle, but it wasn't bad enough to stop me from going until we got uphill. There was this uphill, like a straight uphill. It was probably maybe like 150, 200 foot incline, and that was pretty rough because we also had to carry a 25-pound bag on our backs. That, and the combination of twisting my ankle or rolling it like 3 times going up it, did not help at all. It sucked. And when we finally got the first trail done like 7 to 10 minutes before the first group, and then we all started chilling for a little while, eating our lunch like both groups, and then once we were finished eating and then ready to go, we had to set off and go do the second trail. Well, none of us had ever been to Uwharrie before, which is where this took place. And so he just gave us the map that he did. Like I said, was outdated and all. And we decided to take it. He said, there's these little markers on the trees called blaze markers. And every time we passed one, I literally made a 420 joke. Legitimately every time. Until probably in the second trail was about 7 miles, give or take. And when we got to it, I was making all the weed jokes, and then I went from being in the front to the back as I continuously rolled my ankle. I legitimately rolled my ankle at least 12 fucking times on that whole trip, and it was shit. The worst thing about it was the fucking vertical hills that we had to do with the inclines. If I didn't have to do the 25 pounds, I would have been okay with that trip. But the 25-pound bag made it absolute hell. Because I had about 6 or 7 water bottles in there, extra socks, extra shoes just in case. Like if I fell in a creek or something, which if your feet are wet in your shoes, you're going to get blisters. And fuck blisters on a 7-mile hike. Well, we get about halfway through it. And this time, I have really, really had to shit. And so my buddy Ethan was like, he was kill. He was essentially kill. Like he started to feel like he had to throw up, and so I was like, all right, let's take a break so I can take a shit. And I went like 10 yards the other way and shit behind a tree, and that honestly helped a lot. It helped me get through most of that, but I was still bitching and moaning about the whole experience, mainly because my ankle constantly being rolled and the fact that it was fucking hot. Like it was really hot. Oh, like it got to the point where I was like constantly drinking water. My throat was dry. So we got through most of it. We got to this one part. It's called like Panther Branch Creek because we were not too sure about where to be. And we got to where we needed to be. We found Panther Branch Creek campsite and all this. And we followed it up. And then we're like, all right, got a mile and a half to go. Well, we got through probably like the half mile or so, probably about half of it. and we ended up on this gravel road. Well, from the map and from the way the map looks, from where we got to that gravel road, we were supposed to take a left. Well, it turns out we ended up taking a wrong turn, which he told us about, that led us to having to be 150 yards away from where we were supposed to be at the end. And it took us to this. At the end of the trail was this place called Grayson's Rock, which he had never heard of, the teacher. And he's done this hike like 60 times. And apparently it had been added in the newest edition of the maps, which he didn't know about. So we ended up, and he tried to find us because we were like an hour late behind the other group, and he was like, "Okay, well, where are you guys at?" And we're like, "Grayson's Rock," and he was like, "I don't know where that's at." And so the people who could go up the hill, like it was a 310-foot incline. The people who could go were like, "All right, we're gonna call whenever we find the teacher." So we were like, "All right, if they're not back, if they don't call us within an hour and a half or 2 hours, we're just gonna go. We're gonna call the cops and just get out of here." And we all agreed on that. It was me, Ethan, and Ryan. Ethan physically could not make it up that hill. After I got some rest and drank some water and ate a couple Cliff Bars and iced my ankle with an ice pack that I had in my medical kit, I could probably make it up the hill. Not very fast, but it would probably take me a while. So we called the cops at about 6:30, 6:40 when we finally decided to do it because they never called us back, the people who found the teacher. So we ended up calling the cops, and the cops told us to move to try and attempt to get a better signal so they could hear us better and so they could have a better, like, exact location on us. Well, shout outs out to Samsung and Android for adding the fitness button they have on there and allowing to give me an exact location with my latitude and my longitude. And I had a state trooper call me after I got off with the dispatch. And he's like, "All right, I'm going to get you guys out of here. Just be calm, be chill. Make sure you guys are drinking plenty of water." And he got us out right before the sun went down. Like, it was probably like 10 minutes before the sun was fully down. And they got us out. It turns out it was where we at was a service road, on a service road, on a service road, onto a final service road. And it was about 5 miles long in total. And we asked him, I was like, "How much total do you..." We were supposed to do like 6 miles on this, like, on this side of the map, on this side of the trail. He's like, "You guys, like, where you ended up doing an extra, like, 4 miles. So it turns out we did like 10 or 12 miles in total for the whole trip. And then like we got back to camp. The teacher was being a total ass about it. Like, he's like, "You embarrassed me. You embarrassed the name of the school. I know you guys should have stayed still." I was like, "Well, the literal authorities told us to move, and you're complaining about it? The literal police and, like, state trooper department told us to move, and you're going to argue that decision? I'm going to trust them over you any day." And he's like, "You still should have moved. Rule number 1 is never move." And I've heard that before, but I've never heard it as rule number 1. Because apparently him and then one of the girls in our group went back to go find us. And we weren't that far from where we originally were. We're probably only like a half mile, maybe, if that, away from where we originally were. And we got back to camp base, and I'm pissed off. I'm like exhausted. I just want to lay down, take my shoes off, and just fucking sleep. Well, we ended up chilling for a little bit. I stayed in my car, charging my phone, because I spent 90% of the time on talk. Like, I spent 90% of my battery talking to the cop, trying to find my exact location, and like doing that whole triangulum system thing where they pinpoint based on 3 like GPS locations. Well, we only had 2, mine and Ryan's phone, because Ethan's phone died, so it was a little harder to find us that way. And they ended up getting up to us. He was being a total dickhead about it. So we were just like, "You know what, fuck it." He's like, "We'll debrief in the morning." So we ended up going to McDonald's afterwards, and I got a large high-C punch and a medium fry, and goddamn, it was the best drink I've ever fucking had in my life at that point. Like, I literally could have came in my pants if that had, like, sexually pleased me at that point. It was that fucking good. It was one of the greatest beverages I've ever had. After the situation I had been in. And so I chilled in my car. I ate a cold can of Spam because I didn't want to go anywhere near the teacher where like the cooking stove was. I wanted nothing to do with the fucking teacher. So I was like, fuck him. And I chilled my car, charged my phone for a bit, and after we went to McDonald's, everybody else went to sleep in the tents. I was like, fuck this. I decided to sleep in the car. And later I found out that Brooke, who went back with the teacher to come find us, he said he had told her if the cops find us to charge us. I was like, to charge me with what? What could the absolute fuck could this motherfucker get us charged with when on this hike? And ironically, my lawyer came into my Subway where I worked the other day, or yesterday actually, and I asked him about it. He goes, that guy's a fucking idiot. He's just trying to cover his tracks and not lose his job. And he's like, he should lose his job because that's fucking all his fault. I was like, and my lawyer, the dude literally legitimately said fucking. So I was like, he's pretty serious about it. He goes, and I emailed the dean about the situation. I was like, he told us what our grade would be, but it's just like more or less like the thing where he was like, he never said once where I'm glad you guys are okay or anything. And like, just like, he was just more worried about himself. And he later told us like, I don't really have a good reputation with the local law enforcement and the rescue squad around here. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with us? So pretty much just like, so he has a bad rep around Montgomery County for some reason, North Carolina. I don't know what, don't really fucking care, but overall, just pretty much fuck him and fuck that trip. It was miserable as shit. It's something I would never do again, and I'm staying out of Mother Nature for like the next 7 months. But that's my story of my trip I've had this weekend. It's something I won't do again, but thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys have an awesome day.